Oh, hey! Thanks for tuning back into Channel 3. I'm Brantendo64, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm a total fucking geek. I love video games and I love cartoons. That's why today's episode is about cartoons based on video games, but perhaps not the cartoons that you remember growing up with as a kid. But before we move on, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel because, let's face it, you haven't done it already. Cartoons based on video games are actually much more common than you think. That's because they're almost a no-brainer. If people love a video game, they're more likely to love anything that has to do with a video game. Action figures, posters, movies, and of course, cartoons. There are many cases in which this has worked out pretty well. For example, Pokemon. Pokemon wasn't just a pretty popular show, it's one of the most successful animes of all time, and it's based on a game. It's so popular that it kind of almost exists in its own realm, independent of the games. But sometimes, this translation from the video game world to the cartoon world just doesn't work. Sometimes we get gold, sometimes we get, well, warm puddles of piss, like this Donkey Kong Country show. And other times, we get shows that are neither unanimously praised nor universally mocked. Sometimes we get shows that, for one reason or another, just fade into obscurity, almost as though they never existed at all. Those are the shows that we're talking about today. The shows that you probably don't remember were based on video games. This is actually probably the most popular show on this list, if you can believe that. That's perhaps in part thanks to that meme of Quan Chi freaking the fuck out. Aside from a small cult following, the show was pretty much forgotten. This is due to a number of reasons. One, the show simply didn't run for very long. Despite the information on its Wikipedia page, which states it ran for 24 seasons and 30,000 fucking episodes, the show only ran for about 3 months and 13 episodes. To be honest, I'm surprised I even remember watching the show, given its brief run. Also, the 90s were oversaturated with Mortal Kombat stuff. 8 games, 2 movies, the animated series, this live-action show that I'm sure you don't remember either, this animated home video prequel to the first film, action figures, and a whole bunch of other shit I can't really remember off the top of my head. There were just so many damn ways to consume Mortal Kombat that the animated series just kinda got lost in the mix. On top of that, people kinda just thought the show sucked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love everything Mortal Kombat, including this show. I mean, look at it. It's got a ton of that 90s Mortal Kombat charm. But it definitely wasn't for everyone, despite its surprisingly star-studded cast. I mean, let's take a second to appreciate this cast. Ron Perlman as Stryker, Luke Perry as Sub-Zero, Clancy Brown as Raiden? Yeah, that's Mr. Krabs, playing Raiden. Yeah, you heard that right. Donkey Kong Jr. had his own show. The history surrounding Donkey Kong Jr. is foggy. Some say he preferred a life outside the limelight after his prevalence in the 80s, and others, including Leigh Loveday, who wrote the script for Donkey Kong Country 2, believe that the Donkey Kong we all know and love today is a grown-up version of Donkey Kong Jr. But the most recent and widely accepted idea is that Donkey Kong Jr. is actually modern-day Donkey Kong's father. But I digress. Despite his murky annals, the guy had a TV show, and it was weird. If you're looking for more clarification on the history of Donkey Kong Jr., you will not find it in this show. 13 episodes long, it was part of a series called Saturday Supercade from the 80s. Saturday Supercade featured Saturday morning cartoons based on popular video games such as Pitfall, Frogger, Q*bert, and the next show on this list, Space Ace. Oh, alright. This is one of the shows that honestly should have worked. I mean, the video game is a damn cartoon. You'd think making a show out of the game would be as simple as removing the menu and loading screens. Unfortunately, that's 100% not how it works. To be honest, the show really isn't too bad. Still, the show had little to offer in terms of substance, and therefore, it's really no surprise the show didn't do very well. It's a shame the show didn't get a proper go with the man who designed the game itself, Don Bluth. I mean, the man is a legendary designer, animator, and director who's responsible for brilliant works such as Pete's Dragon, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Land Before Time, The Secret of NIMH, and the video game the next show on this list is based on, Dragon's Lair. Another show that could have been cool if only Don Bluth had been involved. The Dragon's Lair cartoon was an animated series from 1984 that spanned 13 episodes. Despite not really being truly representative of the video game it's based on, it did do some interesting things, such as leaving viewers on a cliffhanger before every commercial break, sort of mimicking the way Dirk's impending doom is always just a mistake away. Still, the show is just another reminder that we never got a cartoon that faithfully portrayed any of Don Bluth's video games. Which is a shame, because Dragon's Lair and Space Ace were masterful works of art.
From now on, like your parents.
Pole position. Even if you didn't recognize the name, the game has most likely made some sort of impact on your life. Because Pole Position is actually one of the most influential games of all time. This game put racing games on the map in the 80s, and it's highly likely that we have Pole Position to thank for the very existence of racing games as we know them today. Unfortunately, the cartoon series based on the game didn't make a fraction of the impact its source material did. To be honest, the show was really nice to look at, but the show had like nothing to do with the game at all. Which is understandable given the game really doesn't have much to pull from in terms of content that would translate well into a cartoon, but there's really no reason any fan of the game would be inclined to watch the show other than the name being the same. The show ran for 13 episodes and disappeared into obscurity. Wing Commander Academy. Alright, so unless you're into retro space flight simulators, you probably have no clue what Wing Commander is to begin with. Initially released for MS-DOS in 1990, Wing Commander was a super cool space shooter with point-and-click elements and highly impressive graphics for its time. It eventually evolved into what was arguably the best game on the lackluster 3DO console, Super Wing Commander, which had some of the creepiest visuals I've ever seen. Its popularity led to a cartoon titled Wing Commander Academy, which aired in 1996 on the USA Network for, you guessed it, 13 episodes, as a part of this Super 90s Action Extreme Team block with, well, Mortal Kombat and the Defenders of the Realm. The show is actually crossed over at one point as well. I mean, kind of. They actually kind of just ambiguously reference each other. Let me explain. This is the episode of Mortal Kombat with the crossover. See that guy running through that portal? Yeah, that's not Shao Kahn. He's actually a guy named the Warrior King. Here he is in the Wing Commander episode. He's chasing an orb through different universes in order to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. And two of the universes he jumped into just so happened to be the Mortal Kombat and Wing Commander universes. Kind of underwhelming, but I guess if you were watching both shows at the same time when it happened, it's probably pretty cool. The Bubsy cartoon is the only cartoon on this list that didn't last for 13 episodes. That's because it didn't even get past the pilot. In 1993, Bubsy had an animated pilot sponsored by Taco Bell. Yeah, Taco Bell. I don't know. Unfortunately, it wasn't picked up for a series due to low ratings. I've seen the pilot, and to be honest, it isn't terrible, but it wasn't spectacular either. The artwork and the animation is honestly pretty cool. It's got like a super 90s vibe. The voice acting's pretty good too, with Bubsy being played by Rob Paulsen, who's played a bunch of roles including Yakko from Animaniacs, Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, and PJ from Goof Troop in the two Goofy movies. He also played a character named Ogden O. Ostrich in a cartoon called Channel Umpty 3. And yeah, I know, but it's of no relation to my channel at all. Anyway, the Bubsy pilot had little to no relation to the game. Almost every character in the show was made for the show, and honestly, none of them were very interesting. This is probably because the show wasn't made with the help of the Bubsy creator himself, Michael Berlin. As a matter of fact, Berlin actually hated the pilot. That's never good. But he wasn't alone. It was very poorly received, which is why it isn't very surprising the show never made it past its pilot. And there you have it, folks. 7 cartoons you didn't know existed based on video games. If you haven't already, and I know you haven't, click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, let's blow this cartridge.
Hey, you very good.